This is an Audi RS7, and it is Audi's competitor to things like the BMW M5 and the Mercedes E63S. And today, I'm going to be bringing you a review of this almost 600 horsepower hatchback monster from Audi. I'm Aiden, and you're watching God Next. Now let's talk about the powertrain first. It's powered by a 4-liter twin-turbo V8, makes 591 horsepower, 590 pound-feet of torque. It has a mild hybrid system, the 48-volt battery that increases acceleration and everything like that. It's bolted to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and this specific car is supposed to do 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds flat. That's 2.2 seconds slower than the BMW M5 competition, about the same speed as the E63. It's by no means slow. It's not the top of the line like the BMWs are. Up front on the RS7, of course, this is a super aggressive looking front end, especially for this car. I actually think it's one of the best looking German cars on the market today. You got the sharp designed headlights, the massive Audi grille with the black badges up front. You have these more aggressive looking grills down here for air pass-throughs and additional cooling. You have this front extended splitter right here for a more aggressive appearance. I actually think the front of this is super good looking. In fact, I think Audi did with the radar sensors, I think this is the best implementation of them in the car industry today. Instead of having it be one big blob that sits at the bottom of the grille, they've split up these radar sensors on either side of the Audi rings. But it looks natural. It doesn't look forced there or anything like that. On the front, you also have the wider front fenders for the wider tires. That way it can put down power without losing traction. Overall, just a great looking front end. Now on the side of the RS7, you'll see that this car is finished in Nardo gray metallic. Let's talk about the wheels and the rims for a second. These are 22-inch rims wrapped with 285mm tires all the way around. Up front, you have 16.5-inch vented and cross-drilled brake rotors. Now in the back, you have 14.6-inch vented and cross-drilled rotors. But the side of this car looks really good. You have more of those wide haunches in the back to support those wider tires. I love the sloped roof design because it is a hatchback. It's really cool looking. And overall, I think Audi's done a really good job with this car. On the back of the RS7, more blacked out Audi badges right here. That's part of the black optics package, but a really cool thing back here is this is actually a deployable spoiler that will lift up on command from the rear hatchback. That's activated with the button on the interior. Other things, you have these massive exhaust pipes that lead back to that 4-liter V8. And overall, just a more aggressive rear valence compared to the normal A7. Now, in the back of the RS7 in the hatchback area, you have 25 cubic feet of total cargo space back here, and it is pretty large. You can definitely fit a person back here if you really wanted to. But you also have some tie-down points and a 12-volt socket back here. It's gonna be plenty of space to lug around, even luggage, groceries, anything like that. And, like I said, you can store people back here. Oh. Now on the interior of the RS7, really nice place to be. You have nice soft touch materials on the dashboard, on the doors, and the seats are nice and comfortable and feel really high quality. These are the RS designed seats. You have the red stitching and the RS logo embossed into them as well. You have carbon fiber that's exposed on this dashboard, on this lower part of the dashboard, and on the door too, but you have this piano black trim in the other areas of the car. I really like this 2-step dashboard thing that they got going on here with the top one having the climate vents. You have Alcantara. This is part of the RS design package with the red stitching, and you have Alcantara on the shift lever as well, and more Alcantara on the sides of the center console. Now, as for the infotainment system, this infotainment system has been around in Audis for a couple of years now, since 2019, I believe, but it's still great, super responsive, wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. The lower screen, of course, is going to be more for your climate controls and other settings like that. Now, when it comes to your drive modes, just like in every Audi, there's going to be these 2 drive select buttons. This one comes with standard, comfort, auto, dynamic, and of course you're going to have an RS1 and an RS2 mode. Those modes can be edited by going to the drive select screen and hitting the edit button. That's where you can edit the drive feel, the suspension, the steering, and the engine sound. To activate those RS modes, you press the RS button on the steering wheel, which will take you into your RS1 mode if you press it once, and if you press it twice, then you get to your RS2 mode. For connectivity, in here you have a 12-volt socket near the cup holders, and in the center console you have 2 USB Type-Cs and a Qi wireless charger with some minimal storage. In the glove box, it's a good space. That's where you'll find your owner's manual. But yes, it is a super nice place to be. I think the RS7 and most of the Audis in general just have a really great interior setup. One thing I do want to mention that I find really cool about this car is going to be the gauge cluster. Now, of course, digital gauge clusters are kind of Audi's forte. They've always been great at it, but I think it's important to mention full screen map view if you want, or you can go back and get part screen, part gauges. You can view your music and everything. That's pretty standard, but it changes based on what drive mode you're in too. So if I go over to our normal gauge view right here, I'm in RS2 mode right here, and you can see the gauges change to be vertical. But if I get out of RS2 mode, you're going to see that the gauges are horizontal again. And if I go back into RS1 and RS2, you'll see that it goes and returns to the vertical gauges with the G meter and your power and torque meters. Really, really cool. Now, in the back seats of the RS7, nice place for passengers to be as well, except the fact that if you're taller, you won't have much headroom back here. Like sitting all the way back is kind of impossible for me because I'm banging my head on the ceiling. More exposed carbon fiber on the doors. Something I like back here is the fact that you get individual temperature zones for either of the passengers back here, and they both get heated seats. Connectivity back here, USB Type-C ports, and a 12-volt socket. Plenty of air vents and everything for your rear passengers so they don't get hot. More leather, very comfortable seats, and a nice size center armrest with some storage in the center. It's a great place to be, and if you're looking for a fast family sedan / hatchback, RS7 is the place you're going to go with it. So driving the RS7, I'm going to put it in RS1 mode. It definitely doesn't feel as spry as the M3, which is a video I just did. It doesn't feel as crazy as that car does, and to be honest with you, it's not. This thing almost weighs 5,000 pounds. That is heavier than an M5, which is funny because it's not much slower, but it being slower is definitely caused by how much this car weighs. That doesn't mean it's slow though, it's very fast. It's just the M5 and even the M3 feel a little more spry and on its feet than this does. And this feels a little more luxury oriented compared to sport oriented. I don't know if that's Audi's kind of goal with this. It sounds really good, and again, it's still very fast, and the rear wheel steering on this car actually makes it feel tinier than it really is, and it aids at cornering and getting around the bends really quickly without feeling too much body roll or feeling like you're lugging around this big 5,000-pound sedan. It does feel really good to drive, but you can also feel that weight kind of sitting back there, that you're kind of like, okay, if it wasn't this heavy, this car would be much faster. The transmission's very responsive though. Like, I love the transmission, and the sound of the turbochargers is really good. Like, that V8 is very good sounding, and it's very responsive with the transmission. And when you downshift, it pops and burbles. It's just... oh, it's a fun car to drive, you know. But every German car is. Audis, they're typically not as fun, but this feels pretty good. And it handles really well, even though it's, you know, 5,000 pounds. And that is an Audi RS7. It's an amazing car, and it's one of my favorite looking cars out of Germany right now. Extremely fast, extremely capable, and extremely comfortable. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button down below, and if you want to see more from us, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.